before our committee of the whole meeting, but you just bow your heads and we'll have a moment of silence for Mayor George. Okay, so we'll move on with the adoption of the agenda.
Second.
Adoption, all those in favor? Motion's carried. No delegations this evening. We do have for approval the regular council meeting minutes of April 15th.
Move. Second.
On approval then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. We have for receipt the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting of April 22nd.
Move. Second.
On receipt then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Committee recommendations. The first one is the action plan for website renewal. That staff be authorized to put out a redesign survey on the website to the end of May and refer the survey to the Economic Development Society and the BIA.
I'll move that. Second.
Anything on that? All those in favor? Motion's carried. And then secondly, regarding pickleball feasibility at Highland Field location, two recommendations that council authorize an expenditure of $4,000 on a 50-50 cost share basis for a preliminary pickleball court feasibility field review.
I'll move recommendations 1 and 2.
1 and 2, and the second is a letter of support. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's carried. No committee reports. We have the management report for receipts.
Move receipt. Second.
And receipt then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Anything arising out of that? I don't think we have any updates in particular, do we, CEO? Okay. And so, did we vote on that? Yes. Okay. Then we have, moving on, then we have the Regional District meeting minutes for Solid Waste Management and Hospital Board, and also Regional District Board.
Move receipt.
All those in favor? Motion's carried. Under bylaws, we have the tax rates bylaw for number 1806 for adoption.
Move. Second.
On adoption, all those in favor? Motion's carried. And I understand CAO and Director of Finance that we have a sample house figure showing $65.65 for your average house.
Yes,
And we'll put that out to
we'll release that to the public on our website, through Twitter, and to the media.
Great, thank you. New business then, we'll move on to our annual public reporting requirements. And at page 35, we have the draft 2014 statement of financial information for receipt.
Move. Second.
On receipt, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Any questions or comments on the annual public reporting? Statement of financial information. If not, then staff are looking for approval of that. Oh, so go ahead.
Yeah, just going through the remuneration for staff, and I'm wondering, does the town work on a structure so that they're all classified as AS1s, and I'm just wondering, like the numbers here, they're fine, but do they compare to other municipalities our size, or are we on our own compared to, say, Sydney, for example, which is a similar size community? Does the town planner there get a similar wage, or how do we structure it? And do we do it yearly? Do we get yearly increases?
There is a cost of living increase built in. And again, it depends on whether it's bargaining unit staff or whether it is exempt staff.
Mm-hmm.
Exempt staff, there is a grid as well that is updated with the cost of living, as well as there are the ability to move up through the grid through a series of steps.
Okay. So performance
Yes.
type of, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, anything further? On approval then of the 2014 statement of financial information, all those in favor? Motion's carried. All right, so we will move on now to the rezoning application application, and this is for 2116 Downey Avenue, or is it 15.3? And this is in relation to a coach house application, and this is the first and second reading report. So the planner has recommended first and second reading, and that a public hearing be scheduled.
I'll move first and second.
I'll second.
Any discussion at first and second? Councillor Price?
I just think it's great that people are taking this opportunity to move ahead, and that and I like what we have gone through with the guidance of the planner and having such a low application rate of $250, and that we've made it so that it is affordable to apply. And I think that it's a way to slowly but surely build our housing stock within our infrastructure that's already in the ground. So it's great.
One thing that's interesting, I was showing my son who's in the carpentry program here at North Island College, and he was looking at this plan. It's an interesting plan for a coach house, but he was wondering why there wasn't another fire exit, like a door at the back of the unit, but I assume the windows serve as that exit for building code purposes.
I believe so.
Yeah, because if there was like a fire in the kitchen, you can't go that way. But it would meet building code requirements based on our building department, I assume. All right, so seeing nothing further, the first and second reading, all those in favor? Motion is carried, and then set the public hearing, motion is required.
Move recommendation 2.
I'll second.
Motion seconded, is there a date specified at this time? And would this be one possibly that would be done in conjunction with the council meeting?
Yes.
So probably no major objections. All right, so all those in favor, motion's carried. All right, so we'll move on to correspondence. So we have at page 75 the annual Highland Secondary Grad Cruise for.
Move receipt that we grant their request.
Second that. Any issues, staff, as far as you're concerned? All right, all those in favor, motion's carried. And also for the annual Heart and Stroke Big Bike Ride, which will be taking place June 6th.
Move receipt that we grant their request.
Second.
Any issues there at all? Okay, all those in favor, motion's carried. And I believe the last piece of correspondence is for receipt from Highland Secondary School's student Sophie Brent around plastic bags.
So I would move receipt that we refer that to the BIA, I think, would be in order.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right. Thank you for that. And I know that a few years ago, there was a program through the Chamber of Commerce as well, so would that be friendly to refer to them as well?
Sure.
Okay. So, any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried, so that'll be referred on to the business community through the BRA and the Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to the Highland Secondary students for that. Moving that forward. I believe that is our agenda, except we do have an in-camera meeting, but before we get to that, we'll get reports from members of council. So I'll start. Since we last met at the council, I attended, among other things, the RCMP Work Experience grad ceremony, celebrations around the 40th anniversary of the Child Development Association. And then also with the other mayors and the chair of the regional district at the Chamber of Commerce meeting regarding their current status of their governance review petition. Just to let council know, they got about 2,500 signatures towards their target of 5,000, and they have been encouraged to take it forward if they wish through presentations to the various councils in the regional districts. So you may expect to see them in the near future, and we'll wait for their presentation. I also participated in the Leadership Assembly at Aspen Elementary School. It's the second time I've done that around their implementation of the Stephen Covey Book 7 Habits of Highly Effective Leaders, and talked a bit about the role that leadership they can play within their home, their community, and their schools. So They are doing a really great job with that program there and have really made some good contributions to their school and the community. Attended the open house at the town and reception for an abattoir association, which slaughterhouses another word for that, and that was hosted here in the Comox Valley through Economic Development. We had 45 attendees, and including our own Venture Brothers Meats company. So the reception was well attended over at the local restaurant. Of course, everyone knows Air Canada is back in town, and I participated in the funding announcement for Aboriginal tourism. And then this past Sunday, attended the annual 70th anniversary of the Battle of the Atlantic Service. It was very well attended here in Marina Park, and I wanted to pass on to staff the gratitude the organizers had for the support provided by the marina caretaker and others, and it really went well. Even though it was a nice sunny day and there were lots of boats trying to get in and get out, it all seemed to work very smooth. And then this afternoon, I attended the Chamber of Commerce lunch where Gordon Wilson was speaking about the LNG and BC opportunities to local businesses and community leaders. That's my report. Councilor Grant.
Well, I'm going to start with this day because we started by McHappy and a whole lot of people. And it was good. We were very impressed, Berkeley, with everything that they do in a very small space. Those young people are so keen and enthusiastic. And of course, everyone was really pleased to be participating in the donation to the good cause. Also attended the LNG presentation by Gordon Wilson, which was great. Had the pleasure of awarding young people with St. John's Ambulance in the first aid competition. It was great to see them, very young, enthusiastic people, and all this good leadership happening there. It was a good afternoon. And of course, Air Canada, everyone's pleased to have them. Attended the reception to welcome the Taiwanese dance troupe, which was excellent. They're doing such a great job with our multicultural society in Jinmen. It was a pleasure to attend and congratulate them. Open house. Now, that's something that's happened since the open house has happened. I've had 3 phone calls. I know that's not very many, but in the big scheme of things, it was. And without any differing, they said they were really pleased with the open house, and they found it to be very professional, very informative, and very friendly, and they were pleased. So, yay. That was good to hear, too. And then we had, of course, should I be the first to speak on it? I guess I am. I'm the first to speak on it. Chat with Council, which was a huge success. I won't say any more because it was everything that I hoped it might be. There was a good exchange of ideas and comments, and particularly the exchange between each other at the table. I found that I was just able to sit there and smile and nod my head and say, "You're doing a good job," by and large, and it worked out really well. I was pleased with it. So, to those people who will be able to attend next time, I recommend it. And last but not least, of course, the seniors had a monthly board meeting.
Great.
Yes.
Awesome. Anything to report specific?
Well, they have a new board, they have a new council, new executive, pardon me, and so as a result, there's a lot of very enthusiastic people ready to make a big difference there, and it was good, yes. And I think that should cover it. Thank you.
Councilor McKinnon?
Yes, the mayor often assigns me to very special duties, and I opened the Courtney Lawn Bowling Club season in Courtney, and was happy to do so. Coffee with councillors, just to mention, we're going to continue that for a year and move the days and the times around so that all councillors are able to come. And also, I got some calls from citizens that said they weren't available in the morning, but would like to come in the afternoon. So, good start with that. Attended the Day of Mourning for Fallen Workers at the Courtney Fire Hall a couple of weeks ago, as well the reception for the Taiwanese Director General, and the dance performance the next night. Was able to present and get our MP to join me in presenting Town of Comox flags as well as Canadian flags, which were well received by the University dancers. Attended the Air Canada Comox Valley Airport reception for their new service there. The public hearing, of course. McHappy Days this morning, the early shift. And a carryover from last week, I received a couple of weeks ago, received from the Comox Valley Immigration Welcome Center on behalf of the town of Comox this lovely certificate. which identifies us as a very welcoming community. So I wanted to share that with other members of council, if I could, and pass that along. And that, and as well as attended the staff town projects open house, which was well received. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, well, we'll find a spot to put that here in council chambers. Councilor Price.
Yes, and yeah, chat with council went great. I was surprised. There were people waiting to talk to us. I think people like being on neutral territory, and a number of people said, "Oh, I missed that. I really want to go." So, yeah, it worked. So I did miss the last council meeting as I was down in Victoria at the UBCM executive meeting. Meeting with cabinet ministers for the annual UBCM Advocacy Days. I did see our MLA Don McRae down there, and he mentioned about grants being available for cycle lanes and encouraged us to look into it. As acting mayor, I attended the Gala of Giving in celebration of National Volunteer Week. Over 15 charities and non-profit organisations had their stand, including Councillor McKinnon with Diana. Also as acting mayor, I went to the Alana Club and Stepping Stones annual event in Cumberland. Attended the Watershed Advisory Group meeting, which is a group working together for the protection of our watershed around Comox Lake. It's a fascinating group, multiple representatives, including private managed forests, user groups and conservation agencies, as well as some politicians. I attended the open house on our infrastructure, which is kudos to staff. I also attended some RD meetings, Water Committee, Sports Commission, Committee of the Whole and board meeting. One fascinating motion that we passed was in support of a new bridge on 5th Street if Courtney changes its mind and decides to build a bridge, which is a first, supporting something that isn't planned.
I voted against that.
They're asking for money, are they?
We don't really know what they're
Bizarre.
I'm just trying to build bridges.
And I attended the Comox Archives and Museum Special General Meeting, which to change their bylaws so that the council rep is now defined as a non-voting liaison rather than a director, just to make it a little safer. And also the Archives and Museum regular meeting, and the attendance continues to increase. It was decided that the town's 70th anniversary, which is next year, will not be celebrated and hang on to the 75th, so hold your breath. Mainly because it is the 100-year anniversary of the 102 Battalion leaving for the First World War, so that will be the feature celebration for next year. I was also at the Battle of the Atlantic celebration, and that is a good spot for people to collect and run the can down there. Lots of space. This morning, as Vice Chair of the Water Committee, met to discuss how, on the very limited advertising budget, we can start encouraging water conservation. Very little snow, as we know, and it's going to be a dry year. And it was also brought up that people do look to the municipalities for how we use water, and so there is that expectation that we will be setting the example as how we wish our citizens to be. And I also, as AVICC President, attended a pre-meeting for the Special Committee on Solid Waste Management, which will be the 9 regional districts getting together with political representation and staff to look at how we can work together to deal with solid waste issues and share experiences, and maybe come up with something that we can all, because we're all reeling from the incredible costs that are on the horizon, and maybe there's some joint ventures that we can get into, so that will be kicking off soon.
So, I don't know when our next newsletter is coming out, but I imagine that we can include some water conservation information there. And the issue that always comes up, of course, is when they see us watering our playing fields as to why we're doing that. And of course, there's a good answer for all that. That may be something we can focus on to within the budget that we have for that.
And promoting the rebate program
Yes.
through the regional district too.
Yeah. All good stuff. All right, Councillor Swift.
Okay, well, it seems like a long time ago now, but I attended the regional meetings for solid waste and the hospital board up in Campbell River, as did Councillor Mark Grant, but she forgot to include that one. There's nothing too startling to report there. Some of it's covered in the minutes. Also, I was holding down the Suncot for a good deal of last week in Florida. So that was a big responsibility, but I did it quite well. I attended the Happy Meals this morning, and the LNG luncheon this afternoon. I found that really interesting too, and learned quite a lot, which was great. And nobody mentioned the public hearing last night, and I did have an opportunity to chair that, so that was an interesting experience for me.
Councillor Arnott?
Well, I attended the public hearing last night too. Also, I attended the town open house, and they did a great job. Thank you to them. And Nautical Days meeting, and which is going well. Nautical Days will have a beer garden this year, and see, even people are whistling about it now. And there is a request that council come and man the info booth on the Sunday. Attended on behalf of Councillor Swift, the Philburg Festival, or Philburg Board, and their festival is coming along nicely this month. And I think that is about it.
Great, thank you. Councillor Kent?
All right, well, I attended the public hearing last night, and also the infrastructure open house, which was very well done, I thought. Staff did a really good job of that. I also attended an RD board meeting, and a couple of the highlights of that, if there are such a thing, was the Hornby Island Fire Hall referendum results 83% in favor and 17 against. That after they went to the voter assent process and it failed. So when it went to referendum, it passed quite handily, so go figure. Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. We also talked about the homelessness and the non-binding referendum. A questionnaire will be coming around to the communities to gauge our input and what we feel on it. There is a coalition out there of all those homeless groups getting together, so there'll be more to follow as that comes, and I'll keep you apprised of how that all comes out. What else did we do? We also sent a letter to the province asking for funding to clean up Forbidden Plateau. There's been some, a lot of it's just in really bad repair up there, and as it's a provincial park, we're asking them to clean it up, and they're in agreement. Whether or not the money ever shows up is another thing. I also attended the Crodo Beach and our sewer commission meeting that we've been having regarding the pump station, and that was in camera, so I can't really get into too much detail, but I can tell you that that group is now finished, and a recommendation will be going to the sewer commission shortly. And what else did I do? Oh, I bought a coffee from Maureen this morning at McDonald's, which was good. And I think that's about it for me.
Great, thanks for that. And thanks, Councillor Margaret, for going in my stead to that meeting on April 16th. I was at the committee or panel awards for the public service that the Premier has had now for the last 11 years. So going through the various submissions and making some decisions with the other panelists on that. And also I should mention that I was appointed to the UBCM committee on MMBC, their advisory committee. So representing with a few other elected officials the local government's concerns on that. They haven't met yet. I've seen some minutes of previous meetings, and many of the same issues that we've discussed here will be discussed there. So I will let you know how that one goes. So with that, we'll move on to any media questions this time. Any questions from members of the public? No? Good. So we'll adjourn to a in-camera meeting under Section 91A of the Community Charter. Motion to that effect?
Move.
All those in favor? Motion's carried.